So hello my friends, Devaun Lennox here, PhotographyPX.com. In today's video, I want to show you a must-try custom Fujifilm simulation that takes advantage of the standard ACROS black and white profile, but it does so in a way to add some nice contrast, more pleasing grain, and also accentuates those fine details. On screen right now, I'll show you a collection of images I've taken using this particular profile so you can get an idea of what you can capture with it. So if you're in the market to experiment with some black and white photography and you have any of the following cameras, you have to try this particular profile. These cameras include the Fujifilm X Pro 2, the X100F, the XE3, the XT2, the XT20, and the XH1. All of these cameras have the X-Trans 3 CMOS sensor. I also want to let you know that I found this profile on the Fuji X Weekly website. If you're not familiar with them, they're a blog of Fujifilm users who post various insights about these cameras, but they also have a large collection of film simulation recipes and reviews as well. And they've organized them based on the type of sensor found in a particular camera so that the profiles are optimized for how those cameras render images. I took the images I showed you guys on screen before using the Fujifilm X-T2, which has the X-Trans 3 CMOS sensor. The particular film simulation that I'm showing you in this video though is the Tri-X push process made by Ritchie. I'll leave a link in the description down below to the blog post, and in the blog post you can find the specific settings for dynamic range, the tone curve, noise reduction, sharpening, and auto ISO settings. But the gist of this particular film simulation is that you want to use faster shutter speeds, such as 1/500th of a second. Then you'll combine that with a high ISO. So you'll set your ISO range to auto and a low setting of 3200 and a high setting of 12,800. Doing so forces the camera to select a high ISO value, increasing the amount of noise in the image, but you actually selectively reduce the amount of noise reduction applied to each JPEG photo, further improving the noise. And that combination with contrast really makes photos pop with a natural film-like aesthetic that even ACROS can't replicate. Let me show you the difference between this profile and ACROS on screen right now. The first image is of ACROS applied in Lightroom to the raw image. The image is completely unedited. Now this is the Tri-X push process. As you can see as I flip between these profiles, there's an enormous difference in contrast. Here's another example with another photo, so you can also see the difference here as well. But in general, the Tri-X recipe also increases the amount of noise, which actually makes the image look more authentic. I've always felt that the ACROS film simulation was a bit flat, and we've been shooting with it now for about 13 months, but we've always found that it lacked contrast and pop. But by adding this particular film simulation profile in camera, not only does it add contrast, saving me the time of doing so in Lightroom, but it also enhances the film grain in a way that ACROS lacks. And I can say after using it, the only real changes that I even make in Lightroom to these kind of JPEGs at this point are just reducing highlights, since for this particular shoot that I showed you guys, we were shooting cars in harsh daylight and the sky inevitably gets blown out to capture a decent exposure of such dark vehicles. But otherwise, shooting with this profile and using just aperture priority gets fantastic results, and it's very easy to use, and it earns a highly recommended if you're in the market for a black and white film simulation profile for your Fujifilm X-Trans 3 CMOS equipped camera. So there you have it, my friends. There's a new Fujifilm film simulation to add to your to-do list. I hope you'll check it out and capture some amazing images with it. Feel free to reach out in the comments any profiles you like in particular, and we'll be sure to check them out as well. Until next time, I've been your host, Devaun Lennox, PhotographyPX.com.